In today's video, we will learn a few tips and tricks on how challenger players win most of their games, along with analyzing one of my gameplay videos. The first thing to mention is that TFT Set 12 is currently quite imbalanced. This is evident from the metacomp stats, where most feature rerolls and low-cost champions. The smart strategy right now is to take advantage of these comps and push our ranks before any patch updates. We have already posted a few top reroll comps on our channel. If you missed them, check out the link in the description below. Let me walk you through everything I wanted to share along with my gameplay. The game began with a 3-cost champion portal. For the first Augment Selection, I picked Thorn-plated armor. Early on, I played with Honeymancy units. This Hunter Kog'Maw reroll is currently popular, as you can see from the stats. Unsurprisingly, one of my opponents had already gotten a Veigar and was planning around another meta reroll comp. Now let me tell you a few important points to remember. By following these, even if you do not win every game, you will consistently place in the top 4. The first and foremost thing is picking the right comps. These kinds of auto-battler games have plenty of strategies evolving every day, and so does the meta. Make sure to stay updated on every meta-dominating comp, which you can do by following our channel. Out of the meta comps, you must know which one will be suitable for that particular game. There are various factors surrounding this. For example, sometimes you can plan to play around a comp, but another opponent suddenly tries to compete against you, which may result in both of you failing to complete your builds. Believe me, it has happened to me many times before. So now looking at solutions for this, scouting plays a pivotal role here. Always keep an eye on what other players are building. If you see someone else building the same comp, it might be time to switch things up. Look for comps that no one else is going for, so our units will be available more often for us. Never try to force roll or get frustrated and spend all your gold to max out units. In some scenarios, you may get your desired units, but the item choices will be very bad. Let's say you are going for an AP heavy build, but the items that you get are mostly bows and swords without any rods or tiers. This itemization is completely random, but we can control them somewhat based on Augment Selection, such as picking Anvil Buffet or Pandora's Box. To keep our options open, don't focus too much on comp-based items. That's why I always say give importance to crafting tank items early on. The next important tip is economy management. Yes, if you master the art of maintaining the economy, everything falls into place. The inclusion of charms in this set adds another layer of complexity in economy management, but still, keep it simple and always try to stack 50 gold. If you are rerolling, make sure that it doesn't drop below 30 gold, otherwise, it's hard to catch up and we may end up struggling to level up. Maintaining a streak is also a key factor in maintaining the economy. To maintain a streak, don't hesitate to spend a few gold on leveling up and rerolling. Though we spend gold to buy charms early on, there are various charms to boost our economy too. In the end, those charms will determine whether we finish in the top 4 or slip to 5th or 6th. As already mentioned, rerolling is the next important point. Don't do desperate rerolls looking for units. Make sure to be at an appropriate level, such as level 6 to get more 2 costs, level 7 for 3 costs, and so on. Also, check out the available units in the pool by spectating your opponents. These are the available units of each cost for every game. The probability of getting the final copy of any unit is very low. In that case, utilize the champion duplicators. Actually, the early and mid-game boards can always be flexible. If we are playing a low-cost reroll and we are being competed against, or if high-cost units show up regularly, feel free to switch the board. Usually, the 4th stage is a better time for transitioning into a high-cost board if proper economy is maintained. Currently, a few high-cost units are performing better, so utilize them in your board based on the items that we have crafted. To be precise, let's say we are playing the Kog'Maw carry. While transitioning, we can equip the items to Kalista, Varus, or Smolder. Similarly, if we are playing with Veigar, the same items can be equipped on Karma, Nami, or Xerath. In the case of a Kassadin carry comp, items can be swapped to Gwen, Fiora, Olaf, Diana, Camille, or Briar. For tanks, we have choices such as Nasu's, Tom Kench, and Rockin. Legendaries such as Morgana with any item are always a positive for any comp. The final thing is Augment Selection. The game swings either way just because of this main game mechanic. There are various hero-based augments, which will be available at the first Augment Selection. Choosing them shortens our options, but we often have no other choice but to force our comp. At present, those augments are successful too. Other than these, if we plan to play any reroll comp or other high-cost comps, our augment list must have at least one economy-based one. It has to be picked during the first or second augment selection, whereas choosing it in the third augment is in most cases of no use. Try to pick a combat-based augment during the third augment selection or even at the second choice. Those augments must boost the stats of our comp properly, like picking a You Have My Sword for an AD carry comp and picking a magic wand for an AP carry comp. We usually give recommended augment choices for all comps that we post here. Remember, flexibility and adaptability are your best friends in TFT. As we have already explained a lot, let me now share my gameplay experience. For the second augment, I picked Final Ascension. After reaching level 6, I rerolled for Kog'Maw copies. However, my opponent had already picked most of my required units. So, I didn't force rerolling and instead kept stacking gold and leveled up. To be more flexible, I was crafting more tank items. For the third augment, I picked Big Grab Bag, aiming to craft items for my carry as I already had a combat augment. This gave me a Dragon's Claw and a Rage Blade, and I had already crafted Last Whisper. Later on, I crafted an Infinity Edge. Slowly, I moved to level 8 and planned my final board. Another opponent had maxed out Jinx, proving my decision to switch the board right. At level 9, I comfortably entered the top 4. Upon rerolling, I kept upgrading and switching my units. Despite a few close battles lowering my HP, once I got a Smolder too, I swapped items to it. With HP down to 13, it was just about picking the right charms now. After an elimination, it was down to the last 2 players. For my final battle, I picked the Tower Charm, one of my recent favorites. With the help of that, I secured the top 1 position. This video focused on sharing tips and tricks to overcome any hurdle in TFT. By scouting, managing your economy, being flexible with items, recognizing power spikes, and adapting to RNG, you can turn even the toughest games in your favor. I hope you enjoyed watching and learned something new. Share your thoughts in the comments below. For more interesting TFT content, subscribe to our channel, Item Swap.